Inverse. Given the equation W equals 4 times R plus 5, where R is the number of rocks and W is weight in pounds you have to carry, an increase of 12 pounds was caused by a increase or decrease of blank rocks. Well, I guess if I'm reading this problem right, you know, if I have an increase of 12 pounds, it's probably caused by an increase of rocks, don't you think? So, usually if you have an increase in weight, it's because you're carrying more. So, again, just common sense here tells us that we should have an increase in rocks. But let's figure out exactly what's going on here. Let's make the table. So W equals 4R plus 5. Again, R is our input value, so R goes here. In our t-table, we have W on the right-hand side. This is how we always make our t-table. Again, input on the left, output on the right of the table. It doesn't matter where the letters are in the equation itself, but this is how we make our t-table. All right, so let's just start with 0, please. Let's go with 0. 4 times 0 is 0, plus 5 is 5. Now, what does that mean? That means that if we're carrying 0 rocks, we still have 5 pounds. Now, that doesn't really make sense, but, for the sake of the problem, we'll just keep going and it'll be okay. So let's change R to 1. 4 times 1 is 4. Okay, now 4 plus 5 is 9. So what this means is if I'm carrying 1 rock, that means I have 9 pounds. 1 rock, 9 pounds. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put 2 rocks. 4 times 2 is 8. And 8 plus 5, 8 plus 5 is 13. So now this means that if I have 2 rocks, I will have 13 pounds. 2 rocks, 13 pounds. All right, so I kind of got a good idea here. As the rocks increase, the weight increases. So I was right in my thinking that we are going to have an increase. But how many rocks? So I'm going to circle increase. Now we need to figure out an increase of 12 pounds. So how many rocks do I need to make an increase in 12 pounds? Well, so far, if I look at my problem, so far I have an increase in 2 rocks, and I've gone up 8 pounds. So I'm not quite there yet. So let's try 3, okay? 3 rocks. 4 times 3 is 12. Ooh, maybe that's our answer here because we're looking for an increase in 12 pounds, and 4 times 3 happens to be 12. All right, so 12 plus 5 is 17. So that's 17 total pounds, but I'm going to go ahead and erase my work from before, and I'm going to try that again now because I'm kind of excited because 4 times 3 was 12. And I already have the 5. Even with 0 rocks, I have 5. But now I'm adding 12 pounds. And that's what the question was asking for, an increase of 12 pounds. All right, so let's figure this out. 0 rocks to 3, so that's an increase of 3 rocks. And 5 to 17, that's an increase in 12 pounds. And that's what I was looking for. How many rocks increase or decrease for an increase in 12 pounds? Well, it looks like I have an increase of 3 rocks. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to circle increase and 3 rocks. Again, where do we come up with that 12 pounds? Well, it's because 4 times 3 is 12. And that's where we get the 12 extra pounds for W. So these equations are like little puzzles, and we kind of have to just play around with them until we kind of find a pattern and figure out how they work. So we just started by plugging some numbers in until we figured out 12 pounds increasing in weight, and then we figured out that that was an additional 3 rocks. All right, so again, increase by 3 rocks.